Yes, good morning. Welcome back to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous now. We're back again, as we always are, every single Monday with this podcast, Kopics, with myself, AGT, and with that fella over there who seems to be laughing.
I think he said that before, hasn't he? All of that whole sentence that you just said there.
Said it
you
a
said it a
million
few times.
times.
Maybe 172?
Probably.
Yeah?
No,
Oh,
you just
71.
said 171.
Damn, I've done it again.
You tit.
171. It's us, ain't it, lad?
Oh, mate, especially, travelling down on
For
the
that
train
eyeballs.
this morning.
Oh, if you can't see them when you're listening to an audio, just know they're puffy. Yeah? They're
Puff.
big. Yeah?
The puff, what's the Powerpuff Girls?
That's me and him.
It's me and him.
I'll be the green one or the red one.
All right, fair enough.
Just so you know.
Yeah, happy Monday to you. It's 30 degrees
It's
in
mad.
London where we're recording today.
32, actually.
32 is it?
Yeah.
Oh my word. Tell you what, it wasn't that in Ireland at the weekend where I was. Have a good weekend though.
Yeah.
Had a few bevies.
Yeah, had a few bevies or too many two bevies and bevies and
A few missed calls off the missus. And
Yeah.
That.
yeah. Great Sunday though, lad. Recovery Sunday after that. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And the
Made up
heat.
for it, yeah.
Making up for everything and that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Still in love. Still in love.
I'm not in love, so don't forget.
Oh, bloody
it's good
Guinness.
though, man.
Bloody Guinness,
I
bloody.
know, mate. Me too. Yeah, I was in Carrick-on-Shannon at the weekend.
That sounds proper Irish.
Proper, bro, it was like real island. It wasn't like Dublin where it's just full of tourists. This is like countryside.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's eating baksh tea,
Yeah.
which is like a potato kind of pancake thing that everyone was going on about. So we had that. A lot of Guinness. A lot of. Have you ever had pink gin and Fanta lemon?
No.
You know
Isn't-
me, I'm like quite basic with my drinks. It's
Yeah,
just Guinness or spice rum.
Beamish Murphy's Guinness. There's
Yeah.
the variation.
But pink gin and Fanta lemon, if anyone at home hasn't had that, we'll have it.
We're
I'll
terrible, you know.
I'll tell you what it's like.
We're
It's mad.
terrible. All
We
we
are.
do is talk about drinking in the summer on this podcast, lad. Have you drunk this weekend? Because we have.
What have you drunk at home this weekend? Let us know in the comments. Smash that like button. Get your comments in. Today we're going to speak about a few bits and bobs, including Jurgen Klopp's quotes on the Club
mad.
World Cup, which are quite
Mad.
explosive.
We'll try and keep it
be
very reportery. Yeah, we'll just
I
keep
don't
it
think that's the
neutral.
word, but yeah, no,
Neutral.
we'll get his quotes up and
Neutral.
we'll dissect them.
Yeah.
Also, Mark Guehi, the links continue for Liverpool, and a bit of a shock link, Nicholas Jackson to Liverpool. I don't think so, but hold your thoughts. Hold your thoughts. We'll get on to that. But let's start off with Jurgen Klopp, and let's see if people at home agree, disagree. And it's a pretty, like I said, an explosive few lines here. Jurgen Klopp says the Club World Cup is, and this is a direct quote, the worst idea ever implemented in football. Wow. I mean, can we off the bat, can we think of another idea that's as bad as this implemented in football, according to
Super
Jurgen
League.
Klopp? It would be the Super League, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Which is basically just the new Champions League anyway, to be honest. Yeah, VAR's up there.
I would like to. What I'm doing now as well. I just want to quote what Pep said. I didn't want to just.
Yeah, 'cause he backed him up. But
Right,
Klopp
well,
said,
what he said is maybe in November, December, or January it will be a disaster. We are exhausted, and the Club World Cup has destroyed us.
and
It's the
that's Pep
first time in
saying
our lives that this has happened. We will see when we come back. He is
that. And that's Pep saying that.
Pep.
Yeah.
And you look at Klopp and Pep in my lifetime, two of the greatest managers to ever do it. They know everything about football. Lad. They know about managing players, fitness, etc. And if they're saying something, then I believe there's something to it. I don't think that it just comes out of nowhere, mate.
I agree. And actually, if you look at some of the accounts that have quote tweeted it and had their opinion on it, one tweet here says, on one hand, you have Klopp, who fought for 5 subs, winter break to prevent early kickoffs after European aways, once again fighting for player welfare. And then it was actually Kaveh Sokolov on Sky Sports News who said, if you don't like the Club World Cup, go and play paddle or go for a swim, which I thought, in terms of like the tone, he's got it all wrong there. You know, first of all, if you're reporting for Sky Sports News, you tell us what everyone who is of note has said. You don't really need to give your opinion on it as an impartial reporter. And then it says, on the other hand, you
Unless
have
you
Kaveh,
do.
who works for Sky, who's defending the money.
That's reality of sports media is like we have to make money. All of us do, right? And we have to go where the money is. And our job is sometimes to be impartial and to just do what we're told to do, whether or not we think it's the best thing or not. And I think that is somebody.
But
back
to say
on the money.
go for a swim or play paddle, it's totally missing the point. He's asking for the governing body to be a little bit more caring over the players' welfare. He's caring about the players, and to say go play paddle, tone deaf. Totally got the quote wrong that Klopp was actually talking about.
It's not necessarily just the fixtures either. I think the locations where they've decided to play these games, it's seriously intense. Like this postponing games because the heat is that dangerous for the players, and you don't want that to happen, especially in a tournament where it's not historically super important to these football clubs. So I guess it is just about that 100 million price tag, and that's why people want to be in this tournament. 100%. And it's a big price tag. It's huge. Like I want that 100 million for Liverpool as well, but do I want it at the cost of my players' fitness and maybe not attacking the Premier League and the Champions League at their full might? I don't know about compromising for that. No. I don't know. How would you feel about that? We win the 100 million in the Club World Cup, but then we underperform in the Premier League and the Champions League. Yeah. How do you feel?
Well, I said, when this started, I said when November, December, January comes round, just like what Pep has said there, I said maybe Liverpool, because we haven't played in it, and Arsenal haven't played in it, maybe they pull away a little bit because of the fatigue, the tiredness in these legs of these players who are risking injury in this heat. It's 40 degrees out there. They're having to suspend games. There's weather issues, storms and stuff like that. But just going back to what Klopp said, he said last year we had the Copa America and the European Championship. This year the Club World Cup, and next year it's the World Cup. This means no real recovery for the players who are there, neither physically or mentally. In the end, it's all about the game and not the surrounding aspects, and that's why the Club World Cup is the worst idea ever implemented football in this regard. He spoke to Welt in Germany. People who have never had anything to do with day-to-day business, who no longer have anything to do with it, come up with something. Last year, he again says the Copa America, European Championships, Club World Cup. An NBA player who earns a big salary has a 4-month break every year. And this is what Virgil van Dijk has got in his entire career. Let's not forget, it's the 30th of June today, and this still carries on for 2 more weeks.
He's only had 4 months rest in his entire career.
Yeah, in terms of like summer break, yeah.
Is that real?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah. So there's still 2 more weeks of it, and as we know, Cava hits back, and I don't agree with what he's said, the Sky Sports presenter, but he's saying, of course, Klopp has a point, but is it the worst idea ever implemented in football? Is it worse than Liverpool being one of the clubs who tried to set up a European Super League? Is it worse than VAR? I'm not so sure. My personal opinion is, we didn't really need your personal opinion, but he said it anyway, is that football doesn't belong to just the big clubs in Western Europe. It belongs to the whole world, and the rest of the world is enjoying this tournament much more than Jurgen Klopp. If you don't like it, go for a swim or play paddle.
And there's validity to that, right? It doesn't. Football is not. It shouldn't be a Eurocentric thing. Like we've been for years, European clubs been taking Brazilian players, right? We know this, right? And other people around the world deserve to celebrate the sport without a shadow of a doubt. This is not what we're arguing about. That's what the Club World Cup's for. That's what the World Cup's for. That's what these national tournaments are for. Like Copa America, so that they can enjoy the football. But is this the best thing to do for the players' fitness and the players' health? Probably not. You're asking them to play more games, and out of a player's concern context, then it's Jurgen Klopp's right. But I also understand there's points to both sides, right? I get it. But who's watching it? I'd like to know in the comments who's really tuned into this and really got into the tournament. It's difficult for me, personally, to get motivated for a cup that has not been historically something that Liverpool have chased for.
And that could take 40 years for you to feel like it's worth fighting for,
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I love to watch Liverpool play football. Absolutely, I want to watch as much football as I possibly can out in a selfish perspective. But I also want my team to win the things that I want them to win, and if that means they need a rest in between, and you're looking at players like Virgil who've only had 4 months in his entire career as a summer break. That is, how are they doing this, mate? Honestly, that is like top level human peak performance. He'll never work this hard after his football career ever again. He probably won't need to. He's spent all his energy in his life, mate. Genuinely, this is crazy. So I agree with, I guess, both of them. It's a difficult thing to do, and FIFA or whatever governing body have done this. I've sort of put people in a position to debate it. That's what they're doing right now, and that's what's happening in the world.
And if Pep Guardiola is saying our title race could be derailed by November, December, January because we've been playing in this, you know, Infantino, the head of FIFA, is going to be seeing these Klopp quotes, these Pep quotes, and he'll just totally ignore them and the players' welfare. And the club gets 100 million, the players don't. You know, it's not really on the players to earn that money really, because it's not going in their pocket. I'm not saying that they're not well paid at all, right?
Yeah,
because we know that they're extortionately paid in the best ever way. But yeah, Pep's saying he doesn't know if the challenge will be destroyed by this Club World Cup. So at what point do you think FIFA, the organisers, actually listen to the managers, the players? I mean, we saw Chelsea. I'm no Chelsea fan, obviously, but I felt for Chelsea players the other night. They were in the change room for an hour and a half, sat still. Yeah. Obviously, they did beat Benfica in the end, and I think they're through to the quarters now. But, you know, you've got to listen to these comments from people, like you say, who have the inside information. I mean, Infantino is sitting there counting his money, but is he in the changing room seeing the physical and the mental effects that this has on the players? And yes, we can say this because we're not in this competition. But if we were in this competition, I think I'd be 3 times as angry about the conditions and everything else that comes, the travel, the heat out there. I would be really angry that Liverpool were in this if they were, but they're not. So we can look at this from an outside point of view, thinking, well, actually, we're not in it, so that's going to give us a bit of an edge in the title race. But if we were in it, we'd be angry, right?
I definitely would be, I think, yeah. I say angry. I would be frustrated that I want to win the Premier League and the Champions League, and is that bad of me to want that? Is that like, am I wrong as a football fan for wanting to prioritise certain cups? You know, we have 4 in England, and I'd still rather win the Premier League than the FA Cup, even though the FA Cup is a great cup to win. And I don't think there's anything wrong with me wanting that, and I don't think there's anything wrong with people in America wanting to watch football, but I do think FIFA have a responsibility, and that is, okay, so if you want these fans to enjoy their football, invest in their domestic leagues. Stop trying to shoehorn things in where they're not really going to benefit the players or the fans. Like, genuinely get the MLS booming, pump loads of money into it, try and get players attracted to it. I don't know how it's going to work. That's your job, right? But it is difficult with this Club World Cup now to sort of be motivated and then think, okay, so if we win this, we're going to go on to win the Premier League. And I can't. You're going to shatter these players. They're not going to have the longevity. They really aren't. And if you're going to pick up, imagine this, for example. We've just signed Florian Wirtz. We're going to the Club World Cup. Yeah, we have a few games, and then Florian Wirtz gets injured for 6 months because he's played in this Club World Cup, and you haven't even played him yet in the Premier League or the Champions League. And it's similar with Trent right now for Real Madrid. Imagine Trent got injured in this Club World Cup, they would be fuming.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. And if Liverpool were in it and we got an injury, I think heads would be hot.
It's difficult, right? This is a really difficult thing to navigate. It comes from fans deserve to watch the players that they love, and a lot of American fans and fans from around the world support Premier League teams or the Liga teams or whatever it may be. So they deserve to watch them, but at what cost is that gonna, like, is it a sacrifice then? So American fans, I could ask you guys, so if an American fan supports Liverpool, for example, and we're doing well in the Club World Cup and we win, and you get to see that Club World Cup win, and we lift a trophy in front of you guys and you get a moment, and that's brilliant. But then as a result, we really perform so poorly in the Premier League and the Champions League. Is that okay with you guys because you got to see that? Like, from our perspective, that wouldn't be okay to us because we want to see the Premier League and we want to see the Champions League and we get to see that. But on your side, I can totally see it. Is that what you want? I don't know. I guess if there's any American subscribers or people watching this, I'd love to know what you feel about it in the comments. Just a really highly discussable debate at the moment, discussable topic at the moment, hot Kopics.
There we go.
But the big managers and the big brains in football are talking about it, and I think that deems us to have a little chat as well.
Yeah,
it's difficult to try and be political about this, right? I do see both sides. I don't think that it should just be football should just be in Europe and everyone else should just go away or come here. Like that's not fair either. So it's like, how do we really get fans from all over the world being able to watch their teams? And I guess pre-season was that. That's what pre-season tours were.
And there is still pre-season games after this Club World Cup for the teams that are in it, by the way.
For City as well?
I'm not sure about City, but Chelsea are playing Bayer Leverkusen. They play AC Milan as well 2 days after that. That is a home game, though. So, that isn't... they don't have to travel for that. But coming back from here, they're going to be absolutely knackered.
They can't have pre-season as well,
absolutely knackered.
That's... They haven't had a break, brother.
No.
like they've played football for 12 months straight.
Yeah, and obviously the World Cup's next year as well, if they're getting that. But Pep Guardiola said, I fought a lot with Jurgen many, many times. I know where his ideas come from. I respect him and I will defend his argument as well. At the same time, as managers, we are in a job. We don't organise the competitions. Once we're here, of course, we're proud. Many, many teams complain about these competitions because they're not here. Otherwise, they might love being here. But where the problems have been a big issue in the tournament, there's been heat, there's been thunderstorms. Maresca as well has spoken about it quite emphatically. There was a 2-hour delay during Chelsea's Club World Cup clash against Benfica, as we know, and he said it's just probably not the right place to host the tournament. But the World Cup's there next year as well. So if this is happening now and they're having these issues, imagine how it's going to be next summer as well. He says, if it is suspended, sorry, I'm an extraordinary manager. Fair enough, he is. But to control lightning and thunder, I'm not good enough to do that. If it is suspended here, the same reason as why they suspend the other one, I will go inside and we will continue to be active and play again. It's not an ideal situation, but I grew up to understand not to be worried about the situations that I cannot control, so no problem. So, again, if Liverpool were in this, and it's difficult to really, comment on this too much because Liverpool aren't in it. We've got almost the rose-tinted glasses on this one. But at the same time, I do feel I'm not a Chelsea fan, I'm definitely not a City fan, but I actually do feel for the players here. So, at home, how do you feel about this one? Because this will just continue to be an issue.
I would say just research about how the tournament came into funding, how it's being televised, all that type of stuff, and that will give you sort of an idea. I do think there's a massive entitlement from football fans where we demand to see the players as much as possible as well. I'm one of them. I definitely can be entitled with it. We've all been spoiled with how much they play for us, and I think that there needs to be a line drawn where it goes, these players are going to be damaged. Like, you're literally hurting players here and you're going to hurt your team as a result. So let's back off a little bit. I know they get paid ridiculous amounts of money. I totally get it. And we all have to work all the time. I totally understand. You have to get up Monday to Friday every day, certain time, and you have to go to work. And that's what people just have to do. But we're not being asked, I guess, to run our bodies into the ground in the sense of they could literally pass out from running too much or whatever it may be. You're seeing players and, having heat strokes and stuff in this tournament. It's difficult.
It's very difficult.
This is a difficult thing to talk about and be correct. And I don't think anyone should go into the conversation about being correct. They should just go into it about understanding what's best for everybody. There's no correct. You know what I mean? Like, correct would be to Americans. Well, we should watch our team. We should be allowed to watch the team that we fund, put our hearts into, give money to. And I totally agree. But then the other side of it is, well, is it at the detriment of the players and also other leagues that you're going to suffer in because the quality is going to drop because they're exhausted? And that's what you're seeing from top managers now. So
absolutely,
big, not just for Liverpool, but a huge talking point around the world. This for me.
Yeah. So let us know what your thoughts are on this. I mean, Liverpool will probably be involved in the next one.
We definitely will. I really want to know what people think. I really want to know. And also, is it one of them type of things where you can refuse to be part of it?
Or I think once you're in it, the club will say, look, there's this much money up for grabs. We can't afford to not be in this competition. I think, for example, Auckland FC, who obviously got battered twice by Bayern Munich, and I can't remember who else they got battered by. I think their last game was a draw, but I think the total revenue that club has made in like 3 years is like 500k.
Yeah.
And after 3 games, they've made like 4 million.
So it's good for that.
So you try and take off the big six classes and you look at that aspect of it, and you say, well, that's really worked. Yeah. It has benefited them. But again, they're way more used to the heat, aren't they? They literally play in New Zealand, right? So
it is good to spread the wealth around and get it out of just Europe, and there's a benefit. So there's a point to add to the comment section when you had why it's good.
Yeah, let's get back onto Liverpool then. Mark Guehi, these links are still going round. They're still very strong. Ben Jacobs says Liverpool will only advance their interest in Mark Guehi if Crystal Palace asking price drops. Liverpool have no plans to pay 45 to 50 million. The price would need to be well south of this bracket. Liverpool are still assessing whether Guehi is a genuine market opportunity. Palace open to a sale, but Guehi hasn't ruled out running down his contract on his current deal. The game time for Guehi is key in a World Cup year. We have to think about that as well. Liverpool also have had other targets. Understand Richard Hughes is primarily focused on the 18 to 22 age bracket when it comes to a centre-back. Liverpool are inclined to bring in a defender. who is Jarrell Quanza's age or younger, unless a deal for Guehi is simply too strong not to proceed with. There is appreciation for Jorrel Hato, which is shared by Chelsea and Arsenal. Liverpool did look at Dean Howson earlier in the summer, but soon realised he was prioritising Madrid, as normal. Lenny Yoro and Levi Colwill are also historical targets. The former wanted immediate assurance of minutes, which Liverpool couldn't guarantee. Yeah. Both players, further evidence of the ideal profile that Liverpool are looking for. In that kind of centre-back position.
Or Euro, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm quite glad that we didn't get either of them. But 45 to 50, I think Palace were after around 70, weren't they, from Newcastle last summer?
It's only got 1 year left now, though, so they'll have to take it down.
So it's a bit of a catch-22, this, because Palace aren't going to sell really cheap, because why would they? They don't have to. They can just keep him for another year. But on the other hand, if they keep him for another year, they won't get any money. But at the same time, Guehi needs minutes. And we cannot say to Guehi, you will play next to Van Dijk every single game.
That's the point.
The other moving part to this catch-22 situation is, where does Konate end up? How does this one finish? But let's stick on Guehi. Do you think Liverpool eventually get this one over the line? How much would it be? And how much can Liverpool guarantee him minutes, knowing that he's probably England's best centre-back at the minute, that he wants to start in place in that World Cup next year?
I think it's all about Ibu, and the fact that we're not being aggressive in there tells me that there's probably going to be a contract talk with Ibu, and we're prioritising him, which we absolutely should, because he's been great for us. If you get someone like Guehi, he's a starter. You do not put Guehi on the bench, mate. He's a solid defender. He actually suits the profile, for me, more of a Virgil than he does an Ibu. It's not a straight replacement. Are we going to talk about swapping systems? I just don't think it works if Ibu stays. I don't. I was saying about playing a back five, but then that changes the whole team dynamic. And even then, he's not going to play that every single game, that formation every single game. So you can't guarantee Guehi minutes, and he deserves to play. So I think that tells me that we're looking at keeping Ibu. It really does. And if we're going to get somebody to replace Quanza, again reinforces. We're going to give Ibu a contract. I think what he wants. It makes sense. But the difficulty with it right now is, in my opinion, Guehi is probably one of the best defenders on the market, and even 50 million, 40 million is still cheap for him and his quality. We spent a lot of money this window, though, so I can totally understand. And I think if Ibu was definitely I'm going to Real Madrid, it'd already be done. Guehi would be playing for Liverpool, lad. But I feel like Ibu's going to stay. I do. Or he's going to sign a contract at least.
I think it gets over the line eventually. Mark Guehi, 24 at the minute, about to be 25 in 2 weeks. I didn't know he's actually born in the Ivory Coast. Mark Guehi. He's only 6 foot. I thought he was taller. Started off at Chelsea in the academy, come through at Swansea, was on loan there for 2 whole years, and then, as we know, since 2021, he's been unbelievable for Crystal Palace. And again, if I was Steve Parish at Palace, I'd be saying, he's definitely worth 45.
Yeah,
I think that's what he's worth.
I think he's worth 70 million, lads. I think.
Do you think he's worth that?
I think he's worth 70 million pounds. He's a great defender. He's a ball-playing defender. He's very intelligent. He's calm and composed. He'll bring that relaxedness to a back line. I think he's worth that, but he's only got 1 year left on his contract. He's 24. He's still a baby, lad. Like, he is a top prospect. He's not even just a prospect, mate. He is a nailed on. He'll do a good job for you, without a doubt. I can't think of anyone right now around the same price tag that would be so much value for money.
Yeah, I mean, I hear it, but at the same time, one of Liverpool's maybe bargaining points could be, all right, keep him and lose him then for free next year. Do you want money?
Yeah.
What do you think Liverpool's opening offer would be if their asking price is 40 to 45? What do you think it could be?
Liverpool probably said 32.
Yeah.
Just see Liverpool going, we'll give you 32.
Yeah.
And he went, nah, and he went, we'll not give you that then in a bit. Like,
yeah.
That's what
it could just be one and done. It could be a situation where we go, sweet, you don't want that?
Because we're not desperate for
We'll walk away. And they'll go, hang on, I thought you were going to make a second bid. And we'll go, nah, you've lost your chance.
We're not desperate for him. When Liverpool really need a player in that position, we go all out to get him. That's what we did with Florian Wirtz. We've just went all out on it. Kirkhez, Frimpong, had opportunities in the squad, immediately get it done. Basically, them deals were done at the start of the window, in my opinion. We've seen all the rumours about them, but the bureaucracy and all the other side of things wasn't nailed on and signed, it's dotted at the T's and all that. So, yeah, The reason why I don't think we're going aggressive is just genuinely because Ibu's going to stay. We don't know that, by the way. I'm not saying I know that because I don't. But
I've heard the opposite.
It's
like
the
I
way
said last week.
that we're not going so aggressive for him right now makes me think about Ibu.
Yeah. And also, I guess some more moving parts to this are Arsenal were interested in Guehi. Now they've now looked at the fella from Colombia. From Valencia, sorry, that they're looking at Mosquera, who looks like he's going to come through the door.
Arsenal?
Yeah. So they were interested in Guehi, also interested in Hato as well. Another one, like DJ Khaled.
I will never understand
But
Arsenal
my point
as a
is,
football club.
I think on the table for Liverpool, obviously Quantz is having his medical today at Leverkusen.
Yeah,
He's just finished the under-21s Euros, which he's just won, by the way, with Harvey Elliott. And Tyler Morton.
Harvey Elliott got player of the tournament, didn't
he? He did, we'll speak about that. But at the minute, I think on the table is re-sign Ibu Konate, and then for I don't want to call it cover because that's a little bit offensive if you are bringing in a Guehi or a Hato to cover for João Quanto. I don't think they're cover. But I think you sign Ibu, you get him re-signed, and I think it's between Hato or Guehi. And if Crystal Palace want to play hardball, because Arsenal have now got this centre-back, Mosquera, they're now not looking at Hato. So maybe Liverpool do go in. Maybe this is the smokescreen for Hato.
I like having a solid centre-back partnership, mate. I don't know about you.
Yeah, of course.
So, for me, the unity that Virgil and Konate have comes from playing so many games together, experiencing so many different in-game situations where they can know I can rely on you for this. So again, if we got someone like Mark Guehi in, maybe we'll get minutes like he would if Ibu gets injured, because we know Ibu does have an injury in him.
He does.
Also, Virgil is getting on a little bit. He could probably do with a rest every now and then. He played so many minutes last season. He's 33. You know, there's space there for him, but then is that going to affect the back line? Is it going to make it a bit more fragile having somebody like Ibu and Mark Guehi together who've not really been there together? Like, that's the risk that you also put up, but you've got to buy new players at some point. Hato for me sounds good because he can flex into left back. Then we've just bought Kirkhead, so it's like it's a difficult buy. Actually, João Quanto was perfect, the backup option. But we sold him.
We've got good money for him though.
Yeah, we sold him.
We've got really good money for him.
We do need a backup though, mate. Liverpool's biggest area to improve right now after we've made these signings is centre back depth. We have none. I'm sorry, Gomez. I love him, but he is super injury prone, like really badly injury prone. And when he's played, he's done a great job for us last season or the season before when he was pitching in. Boss lad, he was going in left back and right back and centre defensive mid, and he was great. Yeah. But we can't rely on him. So who do we actually have to get in now? That's cheap. We have to get someone that's cheap and young. If Ibu's going to sign, who? I don't think it's them two players that you mentioned.
Hato, if you're looking at the cheaper option.
Then does Hato want to be a second fiddle? Is he okay to do that? He's a starter.
I go back to the quote Simicast said, which I really liked actually. Someone asked him about his future. And he said, you know what, I probably play 25 to 29 games off the bench for Liverpool per year. And that 25 to 29 games, to me, means more than playing 40 for a team that I have no real connection deeply with.
And I'm glad that he sees it like that.
And I like that. I mean, he's probably still going to leave Liverpool this summer, to be honest.
But probably not through his own...
Not through his own doing, but he'll start maybe 15 games. And he's saying, I'd rather start 15 games and have 30 appearances across a season for Liverpool than play 50 games a season for, with all due respect, Atalanta. Yeah. Or someone like that.
No, yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you're trying to say. It's difficult, right, as well, again, because actually... When you look at Arne Slot's buys and the way he plays his teams, he buys players in the same position. We've got Kirkhead, Robbo, we've got Frimpong, Conor Bradley, we've got Gakpo, Diaz, we've got Wirtz, Dom. He actually does do that. So Mark Guehi might be an option for him. He might think, I need that depth. I want all the quality players in our team. So let's get him in. We'll see. I can't really tell you right now, but I would like Mark Guehi. Whether I think it's going to happen now, can't put my finger on it, mate.
Yeah, it's 50-50 for us. Let us know in the chat. It's a big hot topic. Mark Guehi, is he worth the money? And second of all, how many minutes will he get in a year where he desperately wants to be in the World Cup for England? Also, just outside of Liverpool, it looks like João Pedro has said goodbye to Newcastle and is joining Chelsea because they thought that was pretty nailed on for João Pedro to go.
That's why Nicholas Jackson's getting
to Chelsea,
linked elsewhere.
Which leads me into Nico Jackson now. Some very loose links linking Jackson to Liverpool, including someone messaged me, which I couldn't really believe, to be honest. So let me show you.
How are we going to swap Darwin Nunez for another Darwin Nunez?
Oh, God, no.
They're literally, in my opinion, so similar.
Yeah.
They're so similar.
Yeah.
No.
So actually, someone messaged me on this, and they said, because of the Pedro to Chelsea news, they said Nicholas Jackson to Liverpool might be a cheaper alternative than Isak, plus potentially lower basic salary than Nunez. Is it a potential?
Cheaper than Isak? Of course he's cheaper than Isak, because he's a fifth of the player that he is.
Absolutely no. I do not want Nico Jackson anywhere near Liverpool
that?
Football Club. With all due respect, I don't want him anywhere near Liverpool Football Club.
It's genuinely swapping Darwin Nunez for Darwin Nunez, mate. What's the point? That is
literally
stupid.
Literally. So I'm not up for that. But there
It's
might
not
be
Pedro
some
to
people
Chelsea,
watching
by the way.
this. Yeah, that's a good signing.
It's only a matter of time
Pedro-
before Chelsea start to tick, because you can't buy this much talent. They're buying so much talent. They have to click at some point.
Does have to click at some point. But at home, is there anyone out there that thinks Nico Jackson to Liverpool, that could work out?
If you do, I'm sorry that you do. Maybe go to doctors or something.
Go to doctors, you know. So yeah, I definitely don't want that at all. I'll be honest. I can't see Nico Jackson coming to Liverpool, and I wouldn't want him as well.
I've seen that Arsenal have been linked to Hugo Ekitike
this morning. Yeah, he is the next Alex Isak.
Yeah, I've seen loads of the memes about him saying this, and you can't really say it until he's been in the Premier League. But he does look good. He's got a little bit of height on him. He looks like he can finish from anywhere. I'd like him at the club, but that's going to be a big price tag, right? 70, 80 mil.
But probably half the price of Isak.
Yeah, and do I want Isak or do I want him, Hugo?
Or do you want Alvarez for 90?
Alvarez for me is him. That's that. Like, I'd rather Alvarez out of all three of them would be my starting number.
Yeah,
like without a shadow of a doubt. If you're looking for a number 9, the likes of Harry Kane and Julian Alvarez are the same breed. They can finish everything. They're in the box where they need to be, but that'll never happen. So out of the Hugo and Isak. But then if Hugo's there, as I said, he's not that much. You know, the quality difference isn't that huge. So yeah, get him in.
Yeah.
We need to replace Nunez. I know that much. Can't just have. We need one centre back and a striker. That's what I think we need.
Yeah, I agree. Just this in here from Sky. It says UEFA have postponed the verdict on Palace's Europa League place. It's postponed the assessment of the multi-club ownership case involving Lyon and Palace. I'll just try and get to the point of it. As part of this settlement, Lyon have gone into League 2, League 2, as we know. And they're trying to work out, I mean, it's not good if they've postponed it. This was an ongoing thing. They've now just said, we'll come back to this. But it's probably less of a reason for him to stay at Palace if they don't have European football. 100%. And a more imperative for them, really, to sell him and cash in on him now instead of losing him for free next season. So, yeah, we'll see how that one ends up as well. On Harvey Elliott, so much has been said about this kid. And I almost think in the last 2 weeks, without even playing for Liverpool, his value's gone up by about 10 mil.
100%.
Elliott, according to Phil McNulty for the BBC, he says Elliott must decide whether to bite that bullet or not. And he has been unbelievable. He's the player of the tournament. And one thing is for certain, if he does choose to leave Liverpool, which won't be what he wants to do, he wants to start every single game for Liverpool, but he's going to be in demand. And I think when we, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about 40, mate, if Jamie Gittins, right, is moving from Borussia Dortmund to Chelsea for 55 mil at 20 years old, then Harvey Elliott, in my opinion, should be at least 60.
Yeah.
He's won the Premier League twice at 22. Like, that is, and he's English, you know, he will be in the senior team sooner or later as well. But I mean, Harvey Elliott is some footballer, and I think we'd be doing ourselves a disservice to be selling him for anywhere less than at least 50. It's got to be 50 for me if we're entertaining it, because you see the goals he scores the other night against Germany, gives one of them to the Germans as well. Like which is, you know, he's got that in him a little bit. But I mean, is there a way that we could almost use him to get a little deal out of Newcastle? Is there a way that we go, right, it's 60 mil or we're not selling him? What do you think? How do you think this one ends up this summer? Because the decision will be made this summer.
I know. He's constantly overlooked, isn't he?
Constantly. We've spoken about it so many times on this podcast. It's
bad because the quality he offers is there to be seen. He's too good for that tournament, in my opinion. He should not be playing for under-21s.
No.
He is, the quality gap between him and the rest of the players is laughable. I don't know if you've seen one of his goals where he's in the middle of the pitch. There's a big spin, runs through the middle of the pitch. No one's quick enough to even catch him, and then he just slots it. He seemed like he was... It was easy. Everything was too easy for him.
I mean, it literally is like this, but it's like a year 11 playing with year 9s.
Yeah, and that tells me he's not potential
And
anymore.
he is 23 playing with 21-year-olds as well.
Still low, but still.
And
like,
younger.
I've seen older players play with these 21-year-olds and get ragged everywhere. So for me, that shows that he's not even potential anymore. He's a player. He's there. He needs to start football games, and he's not going to start for Liverpool. But I even read like comments underneath like Sky Sports stuff where I was like, do not sell this kid. But where does he play? This is the point. Even in the England team, he doesn't even get into the senior England team because there's still players that are a little bit better than him ahead. Like, where do you go, Harvey? It's a difficult conundrum for him. I can't tell you, mate. I can't give you an answer as to where or what he should do. Dortmund. Go to Dortmund and be sick there. I don't know, but you definitely deserve to be celebrated for your ability because you're phenomenal. And I just wish Liverpool could give him that. And I don't think they can. So unfortunately, I think we'll have to let him go. Maybe Frank Fetler, right? You go. Or, yeah, like you said, Newcastle. Just go, yeah, look, we've got a quality player here. This can be a bargaining chip and some dough for your players. Without a shadow of a doubt, I think he could do that. It's almost like what Gerald Quansah did for us.
Yeah, I do think
he's going to be.
If we don't get a serious offer from someone in terms of like 50, 60, I do think Liverpool could go down the road of using him as a make weight to actually bring in another player.
I do.
Plus his value as well.
How long's he got left on his contract?
I'll check.
That's a good question, that, right? Because if he's got like 3 or 4 years now, then he can't even leave on his own accord. He's got to like really try and fight to get in the team again.
Oh God, his contract ends next year.
Okay, so he's going to go for the 3 next year.
Hang on, 2 years. 2 years. There's still 2 years on it.
See, that just keeps him at the just too
about
long.
Yeah,
for him.
But again, it adds the value up. If you've got 2 years as opposed to 1 year, it adds value.
But then how do we build his value up if we're not playing him throughout the season this year?
Just keep wheeling him out to play for England under 21s.
Do we loan him out?
No, he's well past the loan.
I know he is.
But that would be like, I have heard people say that, like Drifty, big him up from Kopics, he was talking about a loan. And I think if you do that, he's got to take a big ego hit on that because it's not something he'll want to do, is it?
I've got a real, like, we're going to let him down and he's going to be really bitter towards Liverpool and I don't want that. But also, I get it, lad. We have not celebrated you.
And he's been quite coy on, in his interviews when he's been at this tournament, he's been quite coy on saying where's he gonna end up basically. So
what do you think it is?
5 goals in 6 appearances though, it's not bad at all, is it?
What lets him down? What is it that stops him from getting there? Is it his height and his physicality? Because the only thing that where Dom gets in ahead of Harvey, the only way
he gets running.
Yeah. Because otherwise, I think Harvey's probably the best player, technically. But,
I think
you
so.
don't have the physicality that Dom is a monster, and that's why he's there.
I just think Arne Slot, as soon as he's come in, I think Quansah and Elliott have been almost the full guys. The guys that, Jones has probably played the same amount of games as he always has done for Liverpool.
But even then, he's bigger and stronger than Harvey Elliott, and you see that. But do you get what I'm getting?
I 100% get it, and it's not his fault, obviously. But at the same time, can you not play someone that good? That's the question. And how much is he worth, in your opinion? Let us know in the chat. On another striker looking to leave Liverpool, Napoli, as we know, still in active talks to sign Darwin Nunez from Liverpool. Uncertain future following another disappointing season.
He's got a skinhead now, hasn't he?
He's shaved his hair.
Yeah, shaved his head off.
One more roll of the dice, Darwin skinhead.
Yeah. I've seen all the memes about it because last time he had a skinhead, he scored 37 goals or something crazy. It's not going to happen.
Are we getting real back in here? Are we going one? But every time I try to leave, they reel me back in.
Do you know what? Do you know what it would solve? Us trying to find a centre forward to replace Darwin Nunez, but is that
if we had like one final chat, was like, listen, you little shit, one more
20
chance.
Plus goals this season.
If you don't get 20 by January,
you're not playing.
You're not playing again.
But I haven't said that though.
But then the value goes down.
Yeah, and also we didn't play. We've very intentionally tried to sell him this summer. Without a shadow of a doubt, that's been the motive, right? Because we didn't play him for the last 5-10 games or start him because we didn't want to pay that extra bit of money for him. So without a doubt, we should be selling him this season. I can't see the club.
So you're not on one last roll of the dice?
Why not? Like I would a little bit. There's part of me that's like.
Well, you're saying why not? You've just said all the reasons why not.
Yeah, but also it's that one. Nunez, keep him in.
What's
he has to go.
on?
He has to go. He has to go.
Get him out.
Yeah.
I want him gone.
I also would like him
Disgrace.
to end his Liverpool career on a high, and he just had a high with winning the league, right? So,
yeah.
Get him gone.
So let us know in the chat, what do you think? And don't forget, Liverpool are 14 days away now from playing against Preston at Deepdale in pre-season, and then obviously 2 weeks after that they're in Hong Kong in the National Stadium, and I will be at that game, just to let you guys know. So if you are at that game in Hong Kong,
Who do you play?
AC Milan.
AC Milan, boss.
AC Milan. Let us know, and we'll link up and do
How
some
many games
videos.
are you doing?
Just that one.
Just one.
And then coming home. I did try and go to Japan, but it's just mental money.
Yeah, it's really expensive,
Like
mate, especially this time of year.
Yeah. So listen, let us know how you feel about the Klopp quotes: Nico Jackson, Harvey Elliott, Darwin Nunez,
Nico Jackson.
Jarrell Quansah,
What
Mark
the
Guehi, all the ones that we've spoken about in this pod today. As Liverpool are still in the race for Hugo Ekitike, but obviously it's July tomorrow, and I reckon a big flurry of bids and whatnot comes in because of the PSR refresh. I do think Liverpool do make a move for Alexander Isak.
So we're
In
going
the
to do
next 2 weeks.
So you think
there's a move that's made?
2 out and 1 in, or 2 out and 2 in?
Yeah.
So you think Harvey Elliott and Nunez out?
Yeah, 100 mil for them.
Yeah, and then Isak and
A centre back coming in, and I think we're done then.
I'm happy with that. That would be
a dream window.
Yeah.
I think we're done. I mean, that's an understatement. That would be like 100 out of 10 rating.
It's
for
like
the transfer window.
oh my
It would be unbelievable.
days.
It would be unbelievable. And there's also some rumours as well. I won't mention the publication that has made these rumours, so they're probably rubbish and bullshit. But apparently Liverpool are interested in giving Crystal Palace Ben Doak as part of a deal for the Mark Guehi deal. But we'll see about it.
I think Harvey Elliott again, another player that would be fantastic at Palace.
Mark Guehi or Ben Doak?
No, Harvey Elliott at Palace.
Oh, okay.
I think he'd be great.
Okay.
Too much though for the price thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also I think he wouldn't want to play against Liverpool as well, which is,
Love
because
that
he's
lad.
such a big Liverpool
We
fan.
love him.
But anyway, we'll be back next week, and I'm sure as we enter July, there'll be more ramped up rumours and bids going in and out all over the place. So stay with us. Let us know how you feel about all of the hot Kopics that we've spoken about today. And it genuinely is a hot Kopic. It's a hot day. So, yeah, be safe out there. And thank God we're not playing in the Club World Cup today, Doyle, because me and you would be absolutely finished.
Finished.
Take care. We'll see you next time. All the best.